Greetings, Guzzlers. Welcome back to a late night edition of Ben Buys Beverages. Now, before I show you what I bought, please click the like and subscribe buttons. Also the notification bell. Now, it's late at night, hence the robe and the whispered voice. But the reality is, my wife will sleep through everything, my daughter will sleep through everything, and at least one of my boys will sleep through everything. So in reality, it's okay. Now, as it turns out, one of the things that I forgot back in Ohio is the actual cable to plug in my ring light. So now I've got a fancy tripod and that's it. But that's okay. Another beer that I picked up at that 101 bottles of beer was a version of Dragon's Milk I've never encountered, called Crimson Keep. Now, from prior videos, we know, and from prior experience, I know, Dragon's Milk is a good beer. And this red ale, this bourbon barrel-aged red ale, that is 11% alcohol, promises to be no exception. So, let me crack it open, pour it, and then while I have no music for you, I have some dramatic readings with the appropriate gravitas that they perhaps not, demand. Back in Mobile, I can use Old Reliable. So let's bust it out, shall we? Smells red. Now, one of my early experiences was with red ales, and that was when I was but a cadet at Kent State University in the 90s at the Rathskeller, which was an on-campus bar. And you could buy giant bottles of Killian's Red, which is not this, but was still tasty. Especially for $2.50. It was the tastiest, not cheap beer I ever encountered. Best of all, we would go after ROTC lab. So we were all in our camouflage uniforms, which meant that at least one of my fellow cadets was able to pass out in the bushes after an evening and sleep undiscovered until dawn, when he awoke and stumbled back to his, not his barracks, but to his dorm room. Because camouflage, yo. Anyhow, oh, this red smells, oh, it's good. It smells like memories. Smooth, a little sweet, which is what I expect from Dragon's Milk. Oh, it's tasty. It's really tasty. Like, I'm thinking maybe I should have bought all of them instead of just one. Oh, I hear thumping. A child must be awake. Now, as promised, we have some dramatic readings for you. Now, many among my viewers know that aside from drinking beer, and by the way, this is a 10 out of 10. Go buy some Dragon's Milk Red today. Crimson Keep. I'm a gamer nerd. If you didn't know that from prior videos, context clues should tell you as much. So tonight, I'll be reading the flavor text from some select Red Dragon cards. I play Magic. I'm a nerd. All cards have a title, rules mechanics, because in the end it's a game, and a select few have what we call flavor text, which kind of drive the story or drive the point home. For example, with Molten Steel Dragon here, and I'm not going to show all the cards, but this is an example. The italicized words at the bottom are the flavor text. And in this case, the Molten Steel Dragon is an apocalypse in dragon form. So without further ado, on the Dragon Master Outcast, this world will be ruled by its rightful sovereigns, not these hideous pretenders. Presumably the rightful sovereigns being dragons. From the Utvara Hellkite. The fear of dragons is as old and as powerful as the fear of death itself. Fair. From the Dragon Roost. Dragons erupt from peaks of chaos and flow from rivers of molten rage. There's a theme here with dragons. Hellkite Courser. The charge was heralded not by horns, but by the dragon's echoing roar. The Hellkite Igniter. Its flight sets the sky itself on fire. The Warmonger Hellkite. Its wings beat to the howls of war and fan the fires of rage. One of my favorites here, the Hunted Dragon. The three knights see a mighty quarry, and the dragon sees breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Crucible of Fire. The dragon is a perfect marriage of power and the will to use it. Oh, and the door cracks as my daughter giggles. Sarkhan's Triumph. Good night, dear. Sarkhan gazed at the world around him and the dragons sweeping through the skies, and joy kindled like a fire in his soul. In magic fiction, Sarkhan Vol, he's very dragony, as you may imagine. The Dragon Mage. You'll bend to my will, with or without your precious sanity. Ooh. If I were a school teacher, I might have to co-opt that line. Wow, how powerful would that be? It might get me fired. Dragon Speaker Shaman. Or Shaman. Whichever. We speak the dragon's language of flame and rage. They speak our language of fury and honor. Together, we shall weave a tale of destruction without equal. The art is much more convincing than that face I just made. Atarka World Render is a very specific named dragon in this game. Her hunger knows no limit. Left unchecked, she would feast on all of Tarkir, which is a plane inhabited by humans and orcs and dragons, and that Sarkhan Vol guy I mentioned earlier. Last card, the Dragon Lord's Servant. Atarka serving goblins coat themselves with grease imbued with noxious herbs, hoping to discourage their ravenous masters from adding them to the meal. And I got all that from Crimson Keep, the Dragon's Milk, Crimson's Keep. It was delicious. It is delicious. Oh, that's good. So good. 10 out of 10 if I didn't say that already. And I don't have a song about dragons. Ooh, it occurs to me that I know one by the Brobdingnagian bards, but not well enough to sing it, at least not yet. So, you got dramatic readings of magic cards instead. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, cheers.